Hey everyone, it's Miss Perez here. Surprise, I'm not here on Monday, and I'm sorry I couldn't be here, but I will be here on Tuesday tomorrow before I go on my trip. But I did want to leave you a little video that I can review with you because your homework will have a question that's going to ask something similar to this, so I want you to be prepared. Alrighty, so here's our first problem. So if you remember Descartes' rule of sign, we're just going to use the rule of sign to verify how many positive and negative answers we will have. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we're actually going to be finding the actual answers to see if we were correct. Alright, so our equation is f of x is equal to 2x to the fourth plus 3x to the third minus 7x squared minus 12x minus 4. Now I'm just going to do a shortcut on this because you guys should know how to do this. So remember, for our positives, so for our positive answers, positive zeros, we gotta check for the sign change. So it doesn't change until here, so that's one change. It doesn't change. Actually, it doesn't change, so it's only one change. So we'll have one positive answer. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and do the same thing for the negative answers, but we're going to plug in negative x. So 2 parentheses negative x to the fourth, and everything else. So what about our negative answers? Okay, so remember, let's go ahead and simplify. This would be a positive 2x to the fourth, a negative 3x to the third, minus 7x squared, plus 12x minus 4. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see how many times this one changes in signs. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. So we can either have 3 negatives or 1 negative. But just by looking at our answers here and looking at our exponent of 4, we're actually going to have 3 negative answers because 1 plus 3 is 4. Alright, now let's go ahead and solve it out using the rational root theorem to see if we get a 1 positive answer and 3 negative answers. Alright, so I'm going to write my equation down one more time down here because I know it's probably a lot to go back up there. So I'm just going to rewrite my function. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do P over Q to find what possible numbers we will have as a solution. So remember, 4 is P while 2 is Q. So plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4 on top, and then plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 2. Okay, when we simplify all of this, we will either have plus or minus 1, plus or minus 1/2, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 4. I got these possible answers from dividing my Q to my P. And remember, I don't write down the repeats. Okay, let's go ahead and check to see which one will get us a root. So I'm going to plug in a random number. Let's go ahead and plug in positive 2, because why not? So plug in positive 2 into the equation to see So then we have 2 times 2 to the 4th power. So what would 2 to the 4th power be? That would be 16. Plus 2 to the 3rd power, which is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Minus 4 times 7, so that's 28. Minus 24 minus 4. So then 2 times 16, that should give me a number of 32. So I'm just going to replace this with 32. Alright, so go ahead and add all these numbers together. I'm going to give you all a second to calculate this real quick, because I am also calculating it right now. And as I suspected, I got a remainder of 0. So x equals 2 is a root. Alright, now we're going to use synthetic division to see if we can find the rest of our answers. So we have one answer. We got one positive answer. So we got our positive. Now we got to find our negative answers. Alright, let's go ahead and use synthetic division. So 2, and then I'll have 2, 3, negative 7, negative 12, and negative 4. Bring down the 2. Doing this quick because y'all should know how to do this. Okay, so when I write my final answer, I'm going to get 2x to the third plus 7x to the second power plus 7x plus 2 with the remainder of 0. Now, here's the thing though, I typically would tell you, yeah, we gotta do quadratic formula, star method, or X method to solve, but we need an exponent of 2 to do that. We still have an exponent of 3. So from here, I am also gonna do synthetic division one more time, because you are allowed to do that. You can do synthetic division more than one time. Use synthetic division again. Alright, so when we use it again, I'm going to use 2772. And now I'm going to pick another factor from up here. Let's try negative 2. I feel like negative 2 is going to work out. So bring down the 2. Perfect, we got another remainder of 0. So now I have 2x to the second plus 3x plus 1, which equals 0. Yes, now I have an exponent of 2. So now I can either use star x or quadratic. I'm going to use star. You can use quadratic as well, but it's going to take a little longer, so it's up to you. So 2 will be up here, 3 will be down here, and it'll be 2x, 2x and 2x. Now, what are factors of 2 that can add to 3? Well, that's going to be 2 and 1. And since they're all positive, I'm not going to have any different answers or different signs. So I'm going to write these in parentheses. So I'm going to have 2x plus 2, parentheses, 2x plus 1 equal to 0. And then remember, to solve, we just got to separate them and solve for x. Okay. Oh, whoops. 2x. Also, negative 2 is a root at the beginning of here. Alright, so I solved and got my 4 answers, which I will highlight in yellow. So x equals negative 1, x equals negative 1 over 2, x equals negative 2, and x equals positive 2. So if I just write my final answer, it's going to be, my roots are 2, negative 2, negative 1/2, and negative 1. Doesn't matter the order. And we're done. And look, we have 3 negative answers, which is what we predicted when we used Descartes' rule up here. And we have 1 positive, which we also predicted up here. So this just verifies that we're getting 1 positive answer and 3 negative answers. And yes, you do need to do this for your homework and for your test or quiz if it's asking you to use it. If it asks you to use it, you have to use it. If it doesn't ask you to use it, then you don't have to do it. Alright, well, that's how you do this problem. I know it's a lot and it's like you don't want to do it, but you have to do it because I'm preparing you for next year and I want you to succeed, okay? Alrighty, so now for your practice problem, which I will stamp tomorrow on Tuesday, this is going to be your practice problem. So just to rewrite this to make it all pretty, it's f of x is equal to 4x to the fourth plus 6x to the third plus 7x squared minus 6x minus 8. Right? And then make sure you use Descartes' rule of sign to verify how many positives and negative answers we will have. Alrighty, that's all you need to do. If you have any questions, just email me. I will also post a link to the same guy who you guys been watching on YouTube in case you're still confused about the concept. Alrighty, thank you very much, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day.